10 seconds.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
How dare you!
Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore, your morning dose of creative conversation and coffee with your host, Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, award-winning playwright, Facebook famous YouTuber, and former mortician's assistant. Get ready to start your day off right.
There I am. How the heck are you? Welcome to the Friday. Oh, it's July 30th, 2021. Actually, it isn't, but I'll explain later. Anyway, thank you for being here. I'm your host, Brian K. Morris, who just couldn't bear to have Friday happen without me and you together. But it's going to be a little different this time. But what's going to be the same is our usual sponsor. Let me get his video up here. Jeffrey Hayes at Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. You've just written an amazing book. You've put your heart and soul into it. And now you're thinking, I'm going to put a POS cover on so no one buys it. You don't think that way. No one does. So that's why you need to contact Jeffrey Hayes at Plasma Fire Graphics, because all those images you saw are from books he's done. In fact, Snow Ambition, number 4 in the Snow Short series. It's a standalone. You don't need to have read the others. Crime fiction short read tale. It's real good, and it's only 99 cents from Amazon.com. But Jeffrey Hayes did this beautiful cover, and he can do one for you. He can also do promotional graphics as well as those beautiful trailers like you just saw. And you'll see a few more during the course of this program this morning. So check out what he offers on Facebook and also on the interwebs at plasmafiregraphics.com when the look of your book matters to you. And what matters to me also is the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Boy, howdy, we've got some great shows coming this weekend. After today, later today at 6 p.m., I believe we're going to have an episode of Drinking with the Davies where Chrissy and Ted Davies mix some wonderful things. You'll love it. You'll love it. You will so love it. And following that will be Michaela Jade's Tidbits and Scribbles. And if you need to learn how to kick your gear into hyperdrive, she's the lady that's doing it on herself, and she's going to tell you how to do it too. She's going to give you the motivation to do what needs to be done. Also, check out her weekday morning show. When you're probably before you're dragging your sorry backside out of bed, she's already got hers up, and she's ready to start her creative day. She's going to leave the day job in a year. How's she going to do it? Well, you'll find out. So tune in to Tidbits and Scribbles at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on Fridays. And then following that on YouTube will be he's a great entertainer and full of great knowledge. It's the Historical Fencing Guild featuring Nicholas Anthony Tockert. Nick is a super educator. He's lots of fun, and his background frequently attacks him. So you don't know what's going to happen on his show. He doesn't either. It's broadcast live. You'll love it. And then on Saturdays at 11 p.m., tune into Stupid O'Clock with Joe Dog McKeel and a whole bunch of really great, intelligent people that are funny as all get out. It's a great conversation show, and you will dig it. Stay tuned at around 1 a.m. on Sunday morning for Last Man Standing with Dan Hollifield, where he's going to take you into the worlds of science fiction, writing, music, and all kinds of creativity. We kind of a leisurely discussion. It's great stuff. It really is. We're so proud of him. Then Sunday night closes up with Heather Allen with Comics, Chaos, and Sass. She is amazing. You will love watching her. She is wonderful. And you'll get a chance to promote yourself. And then Monday morning, I'll be back with a brand new live Nevermind the Furthermore. And speaking of other people I love, there is our Patreon subscribers. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can support your favorite creators on a monthly subscription basis. So these people are helping keep this show on the air. There are expenses to doing publishing, to doing music, to doing photography, to doing broadcasts, to do any sort of creativity. And these wonderful people are helping me out with mine, and I love them so much. I'm letting them look at an exclusive blog, giving them sneak previews of my books, all kinds of cool stuff. They are amazing. So please check them out, but also check out what benefits I can give to you at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. And that should be all the thank yous for now. And we hope you enjoyed Comic Book Spectrum last night. I have no idea what we talked about because here's the thing. I'm not here live. I am elsewhere. This weekend, I'm going to be attending part of the Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois. And y'all need to check it out at supermancelebration.net. It's going to be a lot of fun. Friday morning, Sean Delaney, a friend of the show, is going to be putting on a broadcast to replicate the old Clayton Collier and Joan Alexander Adventures of Superman. It's always a fun thing. I won't be able to make the acting gig this week, but it will be a lot of fun. Sean makes it that way. Also, for all 3 days from about 10 till 6, Artist Alley and Writer's Way will be happening by the Noel Neal statue on Market Street. Check them out. They'll be in the basement there, so please descend into a great time. And friends like Amy Hale and Molly Daniels and Kathy Jackson. I think Lacey Lemke may be there. Mark Lemieux, who's a dear friend of mine. A lot of great people will be down there. Please check them out. Sean Delaney will be there with his work, and it's going to be a lot of fun. You can pick a lot of brains down there and learn how to do this creative thing. But anyway, while you're watching this, I am traveling, and there's a new feature in StreamYard that allows us to take pre-recorded video and insert them and schedule it for a certain time. And this is that experiment. I've had some wonderful people sit in for me, like Joe D. McPhee, Carl Witzman, and Ryan Permison. So anyway, keep your comments coming. They'll look good in this show here, and we will block people if needed. But anyway, we just wanted to, it's an experiment with this new StreamYard feature where we can pre-record a video and then schedule that video to be watched at a certain time. Now, we won't do this very often. This is extraordinary circumstance, but this is a lot of fun. And we hope you enjoy the show. It's just going to be me talking today. Carl, Donna, Amy, Kathy, Ryan, Teresa, everybody. Glad you're here. Christian, behave yourself, all right? And Ted and Michaela and everyone that usually tunes in, consider yourself greeted and loved. But anyway, we're going to take a little moment here, and we're going to run some spots from some of our friends. And again, we want to remind you, this is not live. We are pre-recorded, and so we hope you like this little experiment. And please, if you're watching us on the rerun or on the live show, we appreciate you all. If you're watching us on the rerun, I want you to fill in. I want you to, on the rerun, when this is rerun, I want you to go to our YouTube channel and leave me a comment on there. And what I want you to do is work in the hashtag Metropolis, #Metropolis. And might do something special for somebody on there. You never know. No, as I'm recording this, it's Thursday afternoon in the conning tower here at the Lafayette compound. It is raining like an SOB out there. It is really, really hitting the roof hard. And later tonight we will do live Comic Book Spectrum. Hope you enjoyed it. And anyway, I wanted to take a few moments here to just talk one-on-one. We're not going to be here all day, but I wanted to talk one-on-one. I want to thank everyone for helping me grow this channel in the last year and a half. It has seen a few bumps in the road. But once we started taking this broadcasting a little seriously, and it only took about 5 years, right? We have made meteoric strides, and I just wanted to say sincerely, thank you very much. I keep talking about our main goal with this is to bring Cookie home, and growing the broadcast system is one of them. And I am blessed to be part of a collective, the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. And we support each other, we promote each other. And the main group is, and I know I'm going to leave somebody else, so please forgive me. It's Ted and Chrissy Davies, Amy Hale, Heather Ellen, Joe Dog McKeel, Dan Hollifield. Let's see if I've got everybody. Carl Witzman, Michaela Jade. Let's see. Glenn B. Fleming now with a brand new show on Wednesdays with Ted called The Truth Mongers. It is sensational. People are loving it, and we hope you catch it. It is really marvelously done. And let's see, do I have everyone on here? I left my notes downstairs and I can't pause the recording. And Nick Tockard. How can I forget him? Nick, love you, man. And then everyone who's the rotating guests on Stupid O'Clock, Skunk, Heather, Dan, John, Bill, anyone else who's wandering by, and also my team on Clever Title, or not Clever Title Pending. That's my interviewees. I love them all. They've all been fabulous. But I'm talking about Comic Book Spectrum with Eric S. Hawkins, Clyde Hall, and Brian Rodman. 3 incredible people. Plus, we have people that also support us from outside, our various people that share this message, that like us, that love us, that give us a reaction on Facebook and on YouTube. Also, want to give a shout out to Christian Basil on The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. And from the desk of a small press publisher with Jody McPhee, an incredible show about creativity and great interviews with creatives, as well as drawing lessons and comic book reviews. And he's our backup on Comic Book Spectrum. And he is wonderful. He's an amazing reviewer, an amazingly intelligent guy, and a great artist too. So please check out his work. Check him out on Comixology because he's amazing. So, and thank you for leaving that comment there. I do appreciate it. Thank you. And CKOEPB.com. Cindy Kepp, every morning she does what I keep forgetting to do, and that's promote myself. I just get into the show, the mechanics of it. But she is a darling. And it has been so fun to watch her. I've known her for what a couple of years now. And it's fun to see how she came. When I met her, she was already an amazing author and publisher. And to see how she's grown in the last, just especially last year, she started doing more broadcasting. She has, released her first comic book script, her first comic book based on her latest book, Animal Eye. It's really fantastic. And we also want to thank, just remembered, Willow Schuyler, an incredibly talented young lady who is working primarily at the Hanging with Web show network, and has now been doing some stuff with John B. Pica, our good friend, who will also be in Metropolis, by the way. And his network is expanding amazingly well. And Kelly Gutner, love her too. We are part of a group of people, of like-minded people, that we're all not in the same network. We're not all Hanging with Web show. We're not all Rising Tide Broadcast Network. We're not all independents like that, or Indie Vault. We love you, Randy and Varian. Love you guys. And everyone associated with that. You guys are incredible. But we're all rowing in the same direction. We do help each other. We're not in competition with each other so much as ourselves to try to do what we do a little bit better. And I think that's great. That is truly Rising Tide, helping people. And what else do we have? Like I said, we're not going to be here forever, but I do want to run some spots here. I also, since I was talking about Cindy, Cindy like I said, is an amazing author, and you can also find her stuff at Bear Publications. Plus, check her out at ckoepp.com. You'll hear that a lot during my broadcast because she is so much fun. And on Tuesday nights and Friday nights, she comes up with great questions for our guests and for ourselves, as well as jokes. If she loves you, she leaves clean, funny jokes. And all of our guests have been like, wow, she's amazing. And she is. And if you want to see how amazing she is, here is your evidence.
Author Cindy Kepp is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kepp at ckoepp.com today.
She is incredible. She really is. And please check out her books on Amazon. Please go to bearpublications.com and check out her work there. You will be glad you did. Let me see. I did make some notes. One thing I wanted to touch on, about a week and a half ago, we are shared on, we have our own YouTube channel. Just look for Brian K. Morris Rising Tide, and you'll find us on there. Please like and subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and do terrible things to that bell so you'll be notified of all future appearances. We're also shared on Kathy Jackson's books, who we will mention more in a minute, and also on the Rising Tide broadcast page, which is where our conglomeration of broadcasters have a central place to put their videos now for your Facebook viewing entertainment and illumination. We also have my business page, which is Rising Tide Broadcast, or Rising Tide Publications, Rising Tide Publications, that my wife Cookie manages. And right now, please send some kind words to Cookie. She broke her elbow a couple of days ago. It's the ulna. I think it's just the ulna. Maybe not. Maybe part of the radius too. It's just cracked. It's not broken, actually. I misspoke. But we are dealing with it, and it's going to be a long weekend because she really wants to go to Metropolis. So do I. But so please think of her and send her some positive energy, prayers. All is gratefully accepted. And we'll have some more nice things to say about some of our friends later. But anyway, we want to respond to something. Nathan Day. Nathan, I'm sorry we didn't get to this before now. But Nathan Day on Kathy Jackson's books, a great page on Facebook you should be liking, because there's a lot of great stuff being shown on there. Anyway, he asked, he had some questions. Now, it's no secret that I am kind of the guy that sets the pace for promoting. I don't have much patience with people that don't promote because I'm a jerk like that. But there are a group of us that do. We are out almost every weekend from about February to early December. There's a Nevermorian out there. There is part of the Rising Tide movement who's out there doing a show. Now, Nathan Day, and again, thank you for these great questions, Nathan. He asked, first of all, how far will I go for a show? Within driving distance, 1 day's driving distance is what I kind of limit myself to. Now, I could use a new car. So if y'all get busy and dump that Patreon money on me, like, subscribe to $1,000 a month. I don't know what I can do to repay you for your kindness. Or I have a tip jar at Rising Tide at paypal.me. I could put it up here, risingtide.me. That's not it. It's risingtide.me / Rising Tide BKM. PayPal. Boy, am I confused. PayPal.me / Rising Tide BKM. All right. Anyway, it will also be in the crawl down below. So obviously we're not editing this thing because that mistake is staying. And that's a little aside here. Nathan, sometimes things go horribly wrong. We have had shows where we start out with the sound muted accidentally. or the internet signal's not wonderful. And so I look like an old 80s video, like Atari 2600 video game. But we don't let this stop us. We soldier on anyway.
How dare you?
Because I want to succeed. That's why the people that will do what's ethical and what other people won't, those are the people who are going to succeed. End of message. And I have found this to be true. I have been an independent publisher, my own boss since 2012. The early years were a little lean, no surprise, but learning the technology and having a wife that had a real job helped, and selling a lot of comics to stay afloat. But anyway, we've been doing this for a while, and the seeds of it have been sown. We're continuing to sow more seeds, and it's getting better and better every year. Good enough now that we are looking at perhaps bringing Cookie home from her 9 to 5. But anyway, accidents happen during the show. Like, also, in fact, I think it was early this week, we had an unwanted guest in the studio here, which was a wasp. A wasp had somehow made its way into this tiny little area, which is about, probably about at the peak. It's part of what used to be the attic. So at the high point, it's probably about 7.5 feet high. Length of the room is probably about 15 feet. Width is probably about 10. And this little monster got in here. He was about yay big, to give you perspective. He was fully grown. He was buzzing around. He didn't come near me. But I am allergic to certain insect stings. And so I lost my crap. I went and got, Cookie got me some spray. And basically it was 6 minutes of me killing a wasp. And if you like wasps, that's nice. But this one, it's me or him, literally. So anyway, things like that can happen. All kinds of accidents. Now, of course, we've dealt with a wasp. We can't get us back, and I'm sure that nothing will nothing can go wrong. Okay, now we've got that established. So let's get back to Nathan Day's question. So how far will I go for a show? The closest I have ever gone for a show is 10 blocks. There's actually been a convention here in Lafayette, Indiana, that it was actually like 1-2 turns with my car. If I had less stuff, I could have just walked it over there. But I didn't because I'm lazy, which is probably explains my shape. But I have also driven as far as about, call it 9 hours ish. I have been to West Des Moines, Iowa, which is a fur piece from Lafayette, Indiana. I also did a lot of traveling when I lived in Champaign, Illinois. And it's made longer if I pick up an assistant and have to take them home, of course. Sometimes I'm starting to use assistants because I am of age. It's like you turn 65 and, I'm officially elderly now. But anyway, so about 9 or 10 hours at the absolute most, but it better be a kick-ass show before I go that far. Or they better be offering me a lot to be there. I am frequently a guest at shows, not just a vendor. I do vend at some shows. Other shows, I am a full-fledged guest. The people that I am a guest at their show, you'd be amazed all the stuff they do because I promote where I'm going to be. I have a newsletter that if you go to risingtide.pub, you can sign up for it there. The next edition will come out Sunday evening around 5:15 Eastern time. So please sign up. The link is at the top of the page. You'll find it. You're smart. I have so much faith in you. My usual radius is about, usually about 3 to 5 hours. I've started going into Ohio a little bit more lately. I did some shows in Ohio. Now I'm going back as much as I can. I do a lot of shows in Illinois and a couple in Missouri. Actually, the one place I do so very little actually is Indiana. There is not a whole lot of venues that are suitable for what I offer as far as being a publisher and writer of comics and novels. And that's just the way it is. But I see writers online who are like, well, can anyone find, I live in like Bug Tussle, Indiana. Could anyone find someplace really like next door to me where I could sell my books? And everybody's like, well, here's a show in Chicago. Here's a show in Columbus, Ohio. Here's a show in St. Louis. Oh, I don't want to go to those. That's like an hour away. What, do you think I've got nothing but time? And it's like, you know what? Don't go to the shows then. It's not your fault they're far away, but it's not anyone else's fault they're that far away from you, and you aren't willing to do what it takes. Watch Michaela Jade, good Lord, in the morning, her morning motivations that come on around 7-ish in the morning, and she tells you, get up, get out of bed. People are eating your lunch. Seriously, people are eating your lunch. They are getting opportunities that you're missing because you're sitting on your backside waiting for them to come to you. Michaela is amazing. She really is. And she's a good writer too. I really adore her. In fact, I adore her so much. I'm going to run this.
Secrets, trust, worth. The bond between souls intertwined within otherworldly intrigue. Michaela Jade brings forth the Elite Warrior series, a collection of dark fantasy romance novels set in a twisted world where power lusts in the hearts of men and devotion seduces the souls of women. Warrior's Secret, Warrior's Trust, and Warrior's Worth. Available now at authormichaelajade.com.
If you think her ads look good and her books look good, you gotta see Michaela. She's beautiful. And inside and out, truly, she is so much fun to spend a convention with. She really is. All my friends are. I love doing conventions for that reason. Well, anyway, to get back to, yes, I took notes to keep focus. Nathan Day had 3 questions, and the first one was, how far will I go for a show? Don't ask what I'll do for a Klondike bar. It will make you weep. It really will. And you'll question your commitment. Anyway, number 2 was the criteria for attending a convention. And that's an excellent question, because a lot of it is instinct. Does this show look good? Is this in an area where I could expose my work to a brand new audience? Is it in a city I've not been in before? Is it a city that's not real close to where I have been recently? One year, I think it was 2018, I had been in the southern Illinois area between Harrisburg and Carbondale something like 6 times in 4 weeks. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And by the last couple of times, I think I'd overstayed my welcome, frankly. So we moved on from there. We gave him a respite. Most of that respite was called 2020. You might remember that, with the My Sharona, Miley Cyrus, Peter pandemic. But anyway, one of the, instinct, is it a new territory that looks good? Is it my kind of venue? Because I'll look at past events if there are any. I'm sometimes leery of first time events unless I know the people who are putting it on, and I've got faith in them. But I'll look at their past conventions. If I see a book show, for instance, and all you've got there are romance authors, well, I don't have a romance book out yet. So why am I there? That's not really for me. That's not my audience. So I would avoid it if I don't, or if it's like if it's steampunk. I don't really have a whole lot of products that are steampunk related, although I love the genre and I'm working in it now. But anyway, I go back and I look at how well did they promote? How professional do their graphics look? Do they look like the stuff I do? If they do, then I usually am like, okay, no. Also, I look at the venue. Is it a type of show where is it like at a local hotel? Is it in a gymnasium? What kind of facility, what kind of ratings does it have? It's easier to get with a motel and such. Because if they're not taking care of, say, their rooms, I'm not real sure they're taking care of their conference rooms either. And also I look at, like, do I have any friends that will be there? Because if nothing else, I'll make it a social thing. Are there people there I'd like to meet, that I'd like to maybe network with? Networking is very important, and I've done several shows where I haven't made enough to pay for my table, but the benefits of friendship and certain professional benefits kind of make up for it. I'll look at also big shows. A lot of people think I should be at like a Wizard World or C2E2, and I might one day. I might be at one of those. I am considering a couple of large venues just to test the waters. But a lot of these places, unfortunately, are very expensive. So you better make sure you make your nut on those things. And I've done large shows before, and I have found that but we'll cover this in the next section. Also, do you offer me a free table? If you're within 3 to 5 hours and you offer me a table, I will consider showing up. And if you treat me like visiting royalty, that promise to treat me well, that will happen too. And little amenities like, are you going to pick up my lunch? Will you give me mileage? Are you going to pay for my motel? Some places do, some places don't. And some places, like I say, I get a table. But sometimes I get a discount on the table because I promote so much. I talk about it on my shows. I talk about it on my social media. I talk about it in my newsletter. I talk about it on Patreon. I'm not shy about telling people where I'm going to be. So there are a lot of little factors that play into why I show up at certain shows. And I probably have some interesting ideas on why I don't show up at shows. And I'll tell you after I brag about Amy Hale. Amy is an amazing, amazing writer. She is like the third romance book author I ever sampled, and I love Amy's work so much, and I love Amy too. She is always fun. When she's at a show, I know she and her husband, John, Mr. Amy Hale, we're going to have a good time. We're going to laugh. We're going to go to some good restaurants, and we're going to talk shop, and we're both, and we each think the other one's probably should be doing better than we are. She's an incredible friend, and I love her to death. I love John, love their kids. And this is the type of stuff that Amy writes, and I think you should go to Amazon and definitely check it out. She is a short and sassy storyteller. She's crazy talented too. I read her first book, and I was amazed by it. It was a strong effort. But anyway, please check out Amy Hale. Also, authoramyhale.com, author Amy Hale on Facebook, and Amy Hale's Angels on Facebook as well. She also has a Friday night show that she is gearing up for its second season, second season, called Creative as Hale. And it's a great interview show with various creatives, actors, writers, cosplayers, comic book creators, all kinds of things. And she is just wonderful and amazing. I adore her. So check that out. That'll be coming back on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. So please check that out. Now, what's next? There was one more question from Nathan Day that he posted a couple weeks ago on Kathy Jackson's books on Facebook. And what are no-goes? What will prevent me from going to a convention? Well, actually, a lot of them are the exact opposites of what will get me to a convention. I'm sorry, I've got a little something I've started to using. They're called grinds, and I'm not going to pull it out. It's icky. But they're kind of like those little pouches of tobacco, like, you can get. But this is filled with coffee. I make no secret that I love caffe. And these are like a little jolt of caffeine. See how subtly I got rid of it? Wow, Brian, what talent. No wonder you're a professional broadcaster. Anyway, but what will keep me from going to a show? I will go to a lot of shows where I don't know anyone there. I will also not go to a show if people tell me that it wasn't well done. It wasn't promoted well. The promoter didn't know what they were doing. And they're never going back, or the traffic was terrible, or they got there and found it wasn't their genre. Like they sell comic books and it was all craft stuff. Because a lot of times, not a lot, but some promoters just don't care what you offer, just so long as you buy a table there. And because I'm paying for that out of company money, I'm going to be really careful about what I'm investing my money and time in. So reviews from friends and people in my network help. If the promotion looks amateurish, past promotions look amateurish, I'm not likely to go. And again, if the venue has a really bad rating, or I find out I've done some shows in neighborhoods where I'm like, oh dear, I shouldn't have done this. Or let's see what else. The promoters say something that just makes me cringe. And anytime a promoter tells you this, you should run. And one time somebody said, I'd like you to be a guest at my show. And I said, okay, fine. Let's talk about, and this is going to be like about 9 hours away. I didn't want to do 9 hours, but I thought, well, I knew the person and I like the person. They seem pretty organized. I'd like to do a show with them. And they said, well, we'd like you to be a guest. I said, well, fine. I'm perfectly willing to stay in just about any chain operation, chain motel operation, as long as it's got like a 3.9 rating or higher out of 5. I want some good reviews on there. I also, will need my mileage reimbursed. And I didn't feel I was out of line asking for this stuff since they said, we want you to be a guest. And I've gotten that before. I get it a lot when I'm a guest, especially when I have to travel that far. And they said, oh, no. We, here's our table rates. We want you to be our guest and buy a table. And I'm like, no. If I'm a guest, I don't buy a table. I don't pay for nothing. Now, if I'm going to a show 3 hours away and you don't want to put me up overnight, that's fine. I can drive early in the morning. I'm good with that. But if you tell me I've got to make a 9-hour drive as a guest and I'm paying for my table and I'm paying for all amenities, we don't have a deal. And they were like, but I'm offering you can be a guest. And then they said the second thing that always makes me this is a thing that if you tell me this, I will not be at your show. I will never appear at your show. Well, you'll make a lot of money. How do you know that? Are you psychic? You know, are you like, having sex with, Miss Cleo or something? What? It's like, that's like publishers and editors that try to get you to work for them by telling you, oh, you'll get exposure. Yeah, exposure. Next time you try paying your water bill, make sure you make out that exposure directly to the water company. Exposure, as I constantly say, will get you 6 months in the county pokey if you do it too close to a schoolyard. So it's kind of insulting, actually. So it's obvious they're just trying to fill the venue, and I understand that. But that's just not the way to do it. Especially when you are coming up to somebody and, saying you are a professional, you have a draw, I want you to be there. You know what? You pay for that talent. If you're willing to pay for from somebody from The Walking Dead who was in like 2 seconds of an episode from 6 years ago, you're willing to pay them, but you're not willing to pay someone like me or an Amy Hale or Kathy Jackson or Lacey Lemke or Andy Shaggy Cordy. If I can name drop, if you're not willing to pay us for our time and trouble, then it's a no-show. Let's see. And something else that really frosts me while we're on the subject, I've actually been listed as a guest on a couple of conventions, and I had no contact with them. In fact, one place just listed me, and I had to write them and say, I have no idea what you're talking about. I did not agree to this. And they're like, well, I know, we were just trying to get you out here. And I'm like, well, drop dead. I had another one recently where I was like, I'm a guest here? Why am I getting these emails about the dealer room? And it turned out that it was somebody we had a conversation. I said I would do it like 3 years ago, and they're you still interested? I said, oh, sure. It's all good. It all works out. And it was somebody I knew. And it was mostly my terrible memory at fault here. And then it was another time where I had a falling out with a promoter, and it was all their fault. Don't worry. And I told them I'm not going to be at your show. And they said, well, I want you to be at the show. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to be at your show. I don't want to spend the weekend behind a booth where you're going to be. It had deteriorated. Our relationship had deteriorated to that point. And I found out, that like they went ahead and I just thought the matter was closed, and they kept listing me as being there. And I was already booked someplace else that was actually giving me a table and a room and actually letting me have mileage. All right. So I come home, or I get back to the room, rather, and I see this nasty email from this promoter. It was a co-promoted thing, but I get this nasty email saying, well, why weren't you here? Why didn't you tell us you weren't going to be here? I said, I told you 6 months ago I wasn't going to be there. And they said, well, you have to tell all the partners. I said, you didn't tell me that at the time. And if anyone, and I posted, anyone thinking I'm going to be there, I'm not. And if you're going because of me, please don't go. I won't be there. That doesn't happen very often. I should be so insulted like that. But, and that's another thing. Sometimes I will do shows where the promoter, I've got a couple shows I'm not doing anymore because I was insulted by the promoter. Like, maybe put me in a bad corner of the room, make me a guest, but don't treat me like I am one. I was at a show one time where they were handing out meal vouchers to the guests, and I was waiting for mine. I never got it, but I saw them handing it out to some of the vendors, a handful of the vendors. And I asked about it, and they said, "Oh, we're just gonna feed the people we paid for." And I'm like, "Nope, you're kind of paying for me to be here because you could have sold this space." And they go, "Oh, we'll feed you next year." And I'm like, you won't get the opportunity. So I have written one show off of my list. And that's all I can think of. There are also a lot of little things. And sometimes, you develop a sense, I call it spider sense. Okay. You get a sense that, okay, everything is feeling like a good show. I can't articulate it, but I think it's going to work out. Or I'm just getting this weird vibe that I shouldn't be here. And as a result, I don't show up. I don't accept the invitation. Now, I will say, in the next couple of years, I'll be honest, I'm kind of winding down a little physically. I just turned 65 this year, and I feel it some days. I am very grateful that I've gotten help this year, especially with the heat wave going on. I'm not sure I'd have been in good shape after a day of working and toting all this stuff in the heat. And I'm so grateful to my people that have helped me and will help me for the rest of the year. It really does help me a lot. And Cookie's grateful too. So, so I'll get through this year, and I recognize this year is kind of weird because of last year. A lot of the shows I'm doing, I'd say about 70% of the shows I'm doing this year are actually shows that would have happened last year, but didn't for various reasons. And my 2022 is starting to fill up already, I'm glad to say. But 2022 is going to be the year that I'm going to try not to be quite as busy, if possible. And if I am, I'm going to be a lot more critical of the shows I do. Some shows I have an absolute blast at and don't make all of my overhead, which is going to include gas, which is going to include hotel, food. If I bring an assistant, that's an expense too. I refuse to have an assistant work for free. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully I'll keep doing all the shows that are in your area. I would love that. But as it is, we're working on some other projects, and I want to get in a word from one of my good friends, Mr. Joe D. McPhee, before I mouth off anymore. At 10 o'clock on Saturday nights, like I said, from the Desk of the Small Press Publisher on YouTube, is an amazing show. With Joe D. McPhee, who is a writer and artist of comics, and he does great interviews with other creators, as well as sometimes he just does some drawing on the air, which I always find fascinating. He also does comic book reviews, and we've had him on Comic Book Spectrum several times because he is that amazing. And so you want to get to know Joe D. McPhee a little better? Here's how.
Hi, I am Joe D. McPhee. I am the host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, and I want to cordially invite you to watch our show Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. On our show, we will have different guests as well as talk about the comic book industry and pop culture. And every so often, I might actually do a drawing session or a 3D rendering session every here and there. So once again, I want to invite you to watch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on the broadcast channel that you're looking at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Hope to see you there, and make certain that you catch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.
Now, people ask me sometimes, Brian, what are you working on? Well, I've got a lot of stuff. I just put in a pitch for a comic book special with another publisher. Working on finishing a couple of other comic stories for other people, and one for myself even, although we may try to see if somebody else will publish it for us. But what else? As far as writing goes, I'm working on a kind of secret project right now for someone else. I can't reveal it yet. It's not public. But later this year, I'm going to write a novel. It's going to be a full-length novel, hopefully, featuring Conrad von Honig. If you know that I've written a book called, or I was a part of the crew that put together a book called Quest for the Space Gods. And it's about a 70s journalist named Conrad von Honig, whose belief in extraterrestrial intervention in earthly affairs has kind of made him a pariah in society and in his profession. So he roams the world looking for vindication of his beliefs, as well as to prepare us for the aliens' return. And I've been invited to submit a plot for a book by the creators Jim Beard and John C. Bruning. Looking forward to that. I'm also doing some stuff for Prose Press that should be coming out fairly soon, I hope. It's been in the pipeline for quite some time. And what else? Also a sequel to a certain book that a lot of people have been wanting, and it's been 6 years, so I figure I better get busy on it this year. This will be happening after I finish a next draft on a book I'm calling Aquatic, Love Above the Waves. It's going to be a fantasy romance, contemporary fantasy romance. And I've got one draft of it done. I wrote it during National Novel Writing Month a couple of years ago, and I'm just getting back around to polishing it up now. And then I'm going to be writing a sequel to Volcana, Rebirth of the Champion. I've got a beautiful cover by the even more beautiful Kim Lockman that's going to grace the front cover. But if you don't know about the first one, see if this doesn't entice you.
From author Brian K. Morris comes an epic tale of armor forged by a god, a hero forged by courage, and an ancient menace poised to re-emerge and threaten our world. Volcana, Rebirth of the Champion, is available on Amazon.com. Get your copy today.
And speaking of Jim Beard, I love Sergeant Janice. He's got a trio of books out right now. I've got to read the third one, but the first two are amazing, and you'll dig them.
Go thee to thy rest, O Shades. Thou hast served well in life. Now take thy reward.
And did I say I liked Sergeant Janice? I do. It's good stuff. Trust me, you'll love it. And that's most of what I'm working on right now. As far as broadcasting goes, we're going to continue for the foreseeable future doing Nevermind the Furthermore, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central time. And then Tuesday nights, we're going to keep on doing Clever Tile Pending, which has been a lot of fun. Met a lot of great people. We're probably going to do more panels. We've kind of gone away from that, and I kind of miss the multiple points of view. We haven't really had any sort of panel since March, I think. My book's in the other room. I'm not going to interrupt this just to go get it. It's not like there's a wasp in here. Fooled you. Or anything. But also, we're also going to keep on doing Comic Book Spectrum because Clyde and Brian and Eric and I have such a great time on there, and Joe. We have a lot of fun doing that show, and wish we could do more of it. We really, I wish we could, but we just don't have the time, unfortunately. But that's what we're going to be doing. May do an occasional special like this where I just come and talk to you. So we'll see what happens. But we've got lots planned. We're going to be doing a lot more for Pulp Reality. And that was one of the cool things of last year. Or this year, rather, won the Pulp Factory Awards, which is a very, very prominent group of pulp writers, new pulp writers. And this publication won not just one, but two awards. One for Damien Aville's wonderful cover, and the second one was for the overall anthology. So I'm now an award-winning author. I was an award-winning playwright, but that was because I didn't kill the director, which I think deserved an award, don't you? But anyway, this is if you haven't seen Pulp Reality, you gotta check it out.
Stormgate Press presents a collection of 7 new short stories from today's leading authors and illustrators in the new pulp genre. Experience courageous two-fisted heroes and their intrepid and often dangerous exploits. From dark, watery depths to high-flying heights, these fantastic tales span the globe and take the reader on fast-paced adventures in classic pulp style. Take a seat as we pull back the curtain on Days Gone By with edge-of-your-seat storytelling in the vein of Golden Age era pulp fiction. This is Pulp Reality. Available now from Stormgate Press on Amazon.com.
Definitely check that out. Charles F. Millhouse is a great friend and a super, super writer. Check out his Captain Hawkland series. That's also great. And Evolution Man, his brand new book. I can't wait for the sequel on that because it was inspired by the $6 Million Man television show, and I was a huge fan of that back in the day. So anyway, please check out the stormgatepress.com and their amazing variety of books, including Pulp Reality, the Captain Hawkland series, Absolution, and other stuff. Let's see, what else have we got here? I think that's most of it. We are closing in on an hour, and thank you for indulging me here. Appreciate it. We will be back on Monday morning. We will be live again, or as live as we can be after spending 3 days in the heat and humidity of Metropolis, Illinois, my cookie and myself. Plus, we got to get our arm taken care of. I'm pushing for bionics. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for indulging me this little chance to test the new thing on StreamYard. And as always, we want to thank our Patreon subscribers. Here they are. Patreon is a great way to support your favorite creators directly, and I hope I'm one of them. Even $1 will get you something really wonderful, like your name on this card that I show off in every broadcast. We're going to put your name in every Rising Tide publication we do. It's going to be a lot of fun. You will dig it. I am certain of that. If you want to check out what our rewards comprise, then go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris and find out what goodies we've got for you. And speaking of goodies, there is the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. We've got 7 days worth of entertainment and information. And this weekend, like I said, later tonight, Drinking with the Davies at 6 p.m. Then Michaela Jade's Tidbits and Scribbles, followed by Nicholas Anthony Tockert's the Historical Fencing Guild. Then tomorrow night, Saturday, check out the late night version of Stupid O'Clock at 11 p.m. Eastern, and followed by, on Sunday morning, Dan Hollifield's Last Man Standing. And then on Sunday night, close out your work week. Get ready to go to bed with the image of Heather Ellen in your heart and your mind as she does Comics, Chaos, and Sass. She brings all three, plus it's a chance for you to interact with your fellow creative people and to promote your wares. So please check that out. Also check out Plasma Fire Graphics, who did a number of the videos you saw on this show. They can do your book covers, your book videos, your book selling graphics, all at independent publisher prices. Check them out. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. If you dig what Jeffrey Hayes did for Bobby Nash there and other authors and other publishers, check out what he did for me at Ben Books. Snow Ambition, the fourth in the Snow Short series. It's 99 cents worth of quick read crime goodness. And Jeffrey Hayes and Plasma Fire Graphics did that beautiful cover. Plasma Fire Graphics, check out what they do on Facebook and on the at plasmafiregraphics.com. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. And with that, we are going to wind this down. And for the last year and a half, I've been saying something that as we go into a summer where we're losing people again. We're backsliding. We are facing that Delta thing, and we hope you're staying safe. We are trying to be careful out there, but we have a thing that we've been saying at the end of these shows, and unfortunately, we're going to have to keep using it until we are safe, which is some days seems longer or far and farther away than others. But anyway, folks, thank you for being here this day. Please take care of each other. Please, especially in this heat, check on people who can't get out. Make sure that your pets have plenty of water. Just take care of each other, and please take care of yourself. I need you people around, all right? Because you mean a lot to me. You really do. I don't tell you enough. So here is our Friday love letter to you guys. Thank you. We dedicate this to everyone who supports the Rising Tide mission, who supports our publications and our broadcasts. And we will see you again Monday, but except this time it's going to be the real thing. It's going to be live. And I look forward to seeing you all there. Have a great weekend. If you're at the Superman celebration, please come see me. Please subscribe to the page you're watching on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube page and give the little bell ring and like this video on Facebook. Give it a thumbs up on YouTube and share it with your friends and let them see the madness happen. And also this weekend is CromCon. I forgot that. Please check out what Pops Van Zandt is putting out there on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt and Comic Madness with Pops Van Zandt. CromCon is a great assemblage of comic book and other media creatives, and it's always a good time. So please check them out. If you're at the Superman celebration, say hi to me. All right. And I will maybe say hi back. It could happen. But anyway, folks, we are going to take our leave of you. Thank you for this one indulgence. And it's going to be a while before we do it again, I promise. But thank you, StreamYard, for making this possible. StreamYard.com. They can help you with your broadcasting. They help me with mine. And check out the annual plan. It's worth it. So, folks, as always, I leave you with this, as I've said for the last year and a half, and I hope one day I can retire part of it, okay? Stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. This is Brian K. Morris wishing you a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday on Nevermind the Furthermore. Take care, everyone. # Metropolis.
Thank you for watching Nevermind the Furthermore, a Rising Tide broadcast network production. If you enjoyed any part of this show, please give it a like or a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Nevermind the Furthermore.
I told you that's the address.